Okay, you guys, I am officially in awe of Speaker Pelosi and what's happened. What I did here, this is the chart of the attack, the drone attack in Saudi Arabia with the explosions. Now, what you have to know about this is that this occurred, the first tweet I found with anything about it was at 1:13 a.m. local time, but that was still about 6 hours ahead, about 6 hours ahead of the full moon. So, at the time it was about 6:30 p.m. Friday on the East Coast. So obviously Donald knew about this and he was thinking about it. So I took the cards from the tarot, the observer, the area, my guides, what's the Tarotstrology for there as an observer. And then I took the full moon from Israel, from Tarotstrology from Israel, and then I went and took the Horoscope from Washington, D.C. I am next going to do this one with the kids and the Enra Mercer Goop Coke Zuck. But look at this. So on the ascendant, remember I told you, the observer had the Eight of Cups on the ascendant, meaning this was a setup, and that aligned with Netanyahu in the 6th house. Where the attack was, they had the King of Swords and the Queen of Wands in the 2nd house of income and gains. The Saudis had the King of Swords in the 6th, as did Pelosi in the 6th house. Service, day-to-day work, military. Pelosi is on the Saudis. Putin had the King of Swords in the 7th, which is your opposition. Netanyahu had it, the King of Swords in the 11th, hopes, wishes, dreams. And then in terms of the Queen of Wands, that is Pelosi. USA also had Queen of Wands in the 2nd for income. So this kind of explains the payments that Donald made. Remember I said Donald paid off somebody. Here it is. 2nd house income gains. Remember, Donald, when we looked at the full moon in Israel, he has the 9 of Pentacles, oligarch money. And then who gets the money? The Saudis. In the 3rd house of neighborhoods, communities, the observer drew the 8 of Wands, which is just so telling because there are drones coming in quickly in the area. USA had the 8 of Wands in the 4th house of home. I'm going to skip over here, the 7 of Pentacles, data. Look at all this information we have, these plans, these ideas. Speaker Pelosi had this on her ascendant. All this information she has. The observer at the attack had the 5 of Pentacles. I mean, if you think about that card, I mean, the people who are standing outside the church, but it's almost like they're running for cover. And someone said in their tweet that around 4 a.m. local maybe, that people were just getting in their cars and leaving the area because they just didn't think it was safe. And I just think of that 5 of Pentacles as truly people seeking shelter because of, incoming drones and explosions. These cards don't slide so well, so it takes me a little bit more to try to find that 5 of Pentacles, but you know what I mean. But I'm going to find it here. Come on, there we go. People got in their cars and left the neighborhoods because of the drones. So who also picked the Five of Pentacles, driving people away? The Saudis had it in the 5th house, so it was a match. And who else did? Speaker Pelosi had it in the 5th house, like she knew it happened. Donald also had this, oh wait, the Saudis and Pelosi had it in the 5th house here. The sun. The sun is the leader. Oh, that means Speaker Pelosi is the leader. Implicitly, I see that. Trump had a match to this Five of Pentacles in the 6th house because Donald also drew it in the 6th. He's a match to it. Putin drew it in the 2nd for income and gains. So it makes you wonder how the data fed that. But they're dumb. I mean, Pelosi's all over it with our intel. Our intel's pretty good. In the 7th house, where the attack was, they drew the Queen of Cups, the United States of America. The Saudis also drew the Queen of Cups in the 7th house. Remember, the 7th house is the opponent. So it's USA and the Saudis launching this in this area. Saudis launching it on themselves and getting paid for it. That's why Donald was giving them money. That's for money for, you know, reparations, because they bombed themselves. So Donald's going to pay for it, because supposedly it's supposed to help Netanyahu and Donald. Seriously? This is where it's interesting. The 8th house, life, death, transformation, other people's money, taxes, inheritances. The mercenary, the Knight of Pentacles is there. Who else drew that? In the 8th house with a match are the Saudis. Pelosi had this in the 4th house. USA also drew this in the 8th house. So there's a link there. The world, Putin's house lands far away. Got the Wheel of Fortune, so they were responsible for the timing. Ace of Pentacles, 10th house for the observer. That's the public house. Think of the position of what's crowning, what's happening, what's in the skies for everyone to see. The Ace of Pentacles. These little drones flying all over the place. Pelosi had that in the 7th, the Ace of Pentacles. So she knew these drones were, it looks like to me, she knew there were going to be drones on people. And the 11th wishes, hopes, wishes, and dreams. The observer of the area drew the magician. Pelosi also drew the magician in the 11th house. She knows. In the 12th house of secrets, hidden enemies, locally, they drew the 6 of Pentacles. Donald had that on the ascendant, what gives life to his chart for what he's going to be doing this week. The United States of America had that in the 10th. We're going to be finding out about a lot more. Can you believe this? Nuts. Okay, so checking in with the kids and the new moon Taroscopes. Now things are making a little bit more sense. They know what happened, and I wonder if this is why Speaker Pelosi knows what happened. I mean, Pelosi could be getting our information from the intelligence agencies, but I keep seeing the kids working with her more and more. Eric, I think it's been like the last one to be pulled in. But look at this. So remember, the 8 of Cups was on the ascendant for the observer, the witness, all that is, at the time of the attack in this city. And this is the setup. This is Netanyahu's. Not only did Trump have this in the 6th house, Jared and Junior had this in the 1st house. So they knew about this. This is like their big thing that they identify with for this entire full moon. That is really close to home. Let's see. Oh, down here, the observer, they had the 8 of Swords down here in the 4th house. So it's kind of like we have these drones that are kind of dropping things and kind of trapping people there. You know, the 8 of Swords, you know, that's the one with a blindfolded woman that she's blindfolded, but she could get free, but it's more of like a total mind game, see? And it's interesting because this is also a card that shows for Putin when he's doing his psyops or getting in people's heads and just messing with their brains. And coincidentally, the 9th house had the Wheel of Fortune that has to do with timing. So that's bearing down. The 8 of Swords, you know, both Junior and Ivanka had this in the 4th house. So Junior already identifying with the setup and what they meant to do with it, with trapping people. And here, Ivanka knows too. And they know it's related to Netanyahu in this election. In the 5th house, the Village took the 7 of Pentacles. They're saying that's representative of the leaders of that nation, so that should be MBS. He's the royal crown prince, the whatever he's called, you know what I mean. So the 7 of Pentacles, Eric had this in the 9th house, places far away. Pelosi had it on the ascendant. This 5 Pentacles, you know, where this, people fleeing, suppression. Ivanka had this in the 7th, which has to do with your opposition, so she's more relative about the election. Junior had this in the 10th house, public house, everyone sees. And lastly, here in the 12th house of secrets, hidden enemies, 6 of Pentacles is what all that is said was relevant to the 12th house with the payouts and the bribes. The United States had that in 10th. Eric had that in the 8th house. The 8th house being other people's money, taxes, inheritances, so bribes and payoffs. And who's over here in the 8th? We have the kingdom, the Saudis, the United States, and Pelosi knows what's going on. Unbelievable. Okay, I'm going to check in with the goopers.